Let's review Fate Extra for the PlayStation Portable. I am basing my review on the North American version, released in 2011. Fate Extra is a dungeon crawler with visual novel roots and inspiration. The story takes place in an alternate universe of the popular Fate Stay Night visual novel, and is not canonical to the main story. The story is different enough from the original that it is a completely new experience even those who have played the other games in the Fate universe. The first thing unique about this game is its strong visual novel roots. Visual novels are a category of video games that don't get a lot of attention from both gamers and book readers. They usually lack the interactivity of a video game, yet they also fail to attract most book readers because there are so many more varieties of book than there are visual novels. Fate Extra is not a visual novel, but it borrows many elements of a visual novel. First, there is a lot of text to read, and much of the text is written in the Fate visual novel style, with poetic tones, fanciful and elaborate wording, flamboyant and philosophical observations, and lots of care done to the script in general. Honestly, hats off to the translation team, because they flexed their mastery of the English language with a level of complexity and nuance not found in 90% of RPGs. The story is set in a post-apocalyptic modern world. The plot involves people who have lost their memories, who are trapped in an elimination game where everyone but the victor will die. Each person is assigned an opponent who they must fight at the end of the week, and only the winner stays alive and moves on to the next round until there's only one left. The story can be quite dark, but it doesn't have blood and gore. You can choose the gender of your protagonist. The thoughts of the protagonist are mostly expressed through inner monologue, and the protagonist never talks except for dialogue choices that pops up. The characters are well designed and their dialogue is very well written. As for the flow of the game, you start every day by exploring the school environment where the characters are trapped. You do this mainly to gather information on the opponent, but also to talk to the characters to get a feel of the situation. After you're done exploring for the day, you enter the dungeon and fight. At the end of every week, there is a major boss fight. In order to unlock the boss fight, you need to collect 2 items called triggers by the end of the week, or else it's game over and you lose by default. Each trigger is placed in the back of the dungeon. In order to help you win the boss battle at the end of the week, you need to collect information about your opponent during the week, so you have an advantage in battle. As for the battle system, this game makes good on the statement, knowledge is power. Each turn is 6 consecutive rounds of rock, paper, scissors, where attack beats break, break beats guard, and guard beats attack. However, the choice is not random. Each enemy has a pattern, and you learn the pattern by carefully observing their choices. At first, you will fail to guess the pattern, but if you keep observing, you'll start to see the pattern, and you will start to deal more damage and take less damage naturally by making the right choices. If you defeat dungeon enemies again and again, you will automatically analyze the enemy, so that the game will show you some of their choices. However, most of the time, you should have already caught on the patterns before they are released by the game. For the bosses, depending on how much information you gathered about the enemy, the game will telegraph some of their choices. Even if you max out the information, you won't see all of their moves, but just enough to survive. Usually, it takes just 4 wrong choices to reduce your health from full to 0. Sometimes, the enemy will unleash a super attack, which will take you out in as few as 2 hits. In a game of rock, paper, scissors where you can't see the opponent's choices, you will be expected to make the wrong guesses. You need to strategically lay out your choices so you cover the blind spots with enough wiggle room to guess wrong. On top of attack, guard, and break, there are 2 other actions you can do. You could use a servant skill, or you could use a master skill or item. Using a servant skill will bypass the rock, paper, scissors guessing game, but MP is an extremely limited resource. If you spam skills, you will be out of MP before turn 2. Master skills take master MP, which is different from servant MP. There is a limit of 1 master action per turn. For example, you cannot use 2 items in 1 turn. This means you cannot spam healing and must strategically place heals in greatest areas of potential vulnerability. This battle system is both simple and deep at the same time. You only control 1 character the entire game, and that character has a limited set of skills. This makes the rock, paper, scissors game shine because it is your bread and butter. This battle system really stands out because each skill and each action is meaningful. There is no useless skill. There is no useless move. Gone are the days of simply spamming 1 button to win. Distilling a battle system to its essence without losing its depth is an extremely difficult thing to do, but something Fate Extra does well. This game's art and music are extremely well done. The world is visually coherent with strong design motifs. The UI, textures, dungeons, enemies, and special effects all share a same visual language to present a coordinated world. The music is also distinct with jazzy Persona vibes. Gotta love that slap bass. The music is actually good enough that I will probably re-listen to the music at some point in my life. I'm gonna skip a lot of things in order to keep this review manageable, but the last thing I want to mention is that there are 3 servants and 2 major routes. So you can replay it 4 times to unlock all the variations in the story. Each route changed many things in the game, including a ton of different texts, different skills, and even different bosses. I could go on about how this game is worth playing, but it really depends on what you like. Fate Extra for me is definitely a niche game, but it's a good niche game. If you would rather watch a playthrough, you can watch my playthrough in the description below. If you have any comments, I would love to hear what you think. Thanks for watching and happy gaming!